Hey, are you ready?
Ready.
She's ready. We're ready. It's 9:30 and this is the 26th of August, 2021. I'm Gerald Banks here at Richland County Board of Commissioners. Tony Vero and Cliff Mears. Our clerk, Stacy Carl, and Sheriff Shelton and Captain Sweat. And Captain, the two of you want to talk to us about the Lucas Tower, some kind of little camera you got in mind.
Yeah, so the first project is the Marks Capital Improvement Project Grant Agreement, and that will be for the Lucas Tower. I know Commissioner Vero is always keen to remind everyone to hide their wallet when I show up, but today I come bringing $400,000. County.
We got to thank Mr. Rowan.
Absolutely.
That.
Right? I mean, are we not, Commissioner Banks?
20 points last week. We
Oh,
have to.
that's all right.
Yeah.
I read this contract 3 times and we're the grantee and we're getting something?
Yes, exactly, right? But no, in all fairness, Commissioner Banks and our state elected officials with Mr. Roman.
Not Maryland, though. We don't want to give her.
No, and they are the ones to that were the point folks on this and getting this capital budget money back to us here at the local level. I just had to do the paperwork and do all that part of it, but we're good to go. So I have that for you to approve.
We've been in the job long enough to know when something comes back to us in terms of money, we don't, we get moving. So motion.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Absolutely.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
And I spoke to Dick Miller from Marks. Once I get this paperwork back to him, after it's been signed by you gentlemen today, we'll at that point, we'll make sure that October 18th should be their next.
When we think the tower at the end of the day will be,
Well, we are hoping that the bid documents will be advertised on the first 2 weeks in September, and then September, the third week of September, having the opening here at one of your sessions. Right now, the only holdup we have is we're waiting on the cost estimates for the project. The bid documents are pretty much done, other than the final cost estimates from the engineer. Obviously, with COVID going on, there's been some delays in getting structural steel and whatnot, so they're trying to do all that and get that put together. But we're looking that the bid document should be opened on it's like the 16th or the 19th, whatever that Tuesday is. I'm sorry, I'd have to look at the calendar. I don't have it, but we need to get that. That's the tentative dates for that.
16th is a Thursday.
So then it would be the 16th
Of
of September.
September.
So it'd have to be advertised for 2 consecutive weeks. They're planning on advertisement and then doing that. But step one of that process is getting the bid documents over to the prosecutor's office, making sure they're on board with everything. We don't anticipate there being any problems with that. We'll get those back, get your gentleman's approval to get it advertised and set the date for the bids to be open. And again, on the 16th is our tentative date for all that to happen at this point.
And this shows a completion date of 12/31.
We want to get it done before the end of the budget.
We'll beat that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Nice.
So,
and many people in Lucas asked me about that cell phone coverage. I said, look, it's coming. We said it'd be 2022. But I've had like 4 people stop me at some point. So I just keep pushing.
and that's, yeah, so along those lines, the first part of the project will be us getting a lease agreement put together between Richland County Commissioners and the Village of Lucas. And then we will then sublease the state of Ohio, power. And then once that is all done, we'll go from there. But Commissioner Vero will have to have some conversations about the lease, just for the simple fact, I don't know that there's going to be a lot of revenue from being on that tower at this point, because I think the big point of them being there is that they're going to get some breaks on.
That wasn't my understanding.
Okay.
Communications with them. I think the conversations I had, and I have to be careful not to, I think the business cost wasn't there for the construction of a full tower
Okay.
for Verizon customers. I think they understood that they didn't have good service out there, But if we were able to provide the tower in a manner what we're doing, I think they were more than comfortable with investing 50 grand as opposed to $800,000 for a tower. Because they were already gonna look at boosters and mobile units and they're like, look, this still doesn't get you the bang for the buck as a cell phone tower. So my understanding is this is on their plate regardless of any incentives or et cetera.
Perfect.
That's been the tone of my conversations. Not to say that that may not be the case, but that was my understanding that it was just about the cost you're right, for 800 grand to construct a tower, there weren't enough customer base down there, but if we have the tower out there, they can invest a little bit and assist with coverage in the area.
And in my conversations with Dick Miller in the village, I don't think there's any issue with that. The concept, I think, moving forward, unless you give me different marching orders, would be that if there are any revenues from that tower, it would be split a third, and a third to the village, a third to the county, and then a third to.
We'd have to get with Keller on that as to how.
So let me back up a little bit. I thought this was emergency communications.
It is. The sidebar project is, go ahead, Commissioner.
Getting
This is-
Verizon equipment on there once the towers, because
For leasing space or
Yes.
however that works.
yeah, because as I found out several years ago when I went to Lucas, I was literally in the middle of their village hall and my phone said no service. If you live in Lucas, due to the geography and the distance away from any other cell phone towers, you really don't have cell phone coverage.
There is no cell phone service down there. And I think for the sheriff's office, what's important for us, we have a school resource officer in Lucas now.
Right.
And not only do we need to have good radio service, we really need good cell phone service. So we appreciate the effort that's been put into that also. So
How could you get by down there without?
They don't.
It's
Either have to
Cell
pay
phone
for the
extenders.
landline or cell phone extenders or
it's an-
answer is they don't.
it's bad down there. So this is like a two-pronged thing
Right.
for us and we're very appreciative of it.
Yeah, there's a safety piece to this as well.
Well, even the wireless and the broadband is also beneficial to public safety because our computers in our cars need the broadband. When you're in Lucas, you lose connectivity. So everything about this project is a win-win for public safety and the immediate residents in there. And it's not just the sheriff's office. It's Monroe Fire Department, any fire departments that are coming there, State Highway Patrol, ODOT.
One will come after this is operational.
Yeah. Well, how that works out, that's between Verizon and Marks at that point. But yes, when they time that out is beyond that. But
Oh.
the key part of the project is it is.
It's huge.
And these partnerships have been great for us. The Dining Road Tower with Marks and the partnership we had with them in the northern part of our county. If you talk to the fire folks up there and the police folks that use Marks in that area, they're ecstatic because they've had better coverage than they've ever had in the history of our county. So it is. This has been a big project, and Commissioner Banks has been with us since the beginning, with kind of being our point person on that. And it's come a long ways from where we were on the old VHF system to where we're going to be once this Lucas Tower gets up. And
I think the one thing that you do that you notice right off the bat, we're going from a 76 or 78-foot tower to a 330-foot tower, which is huge. Now, it's not only going to affect Lucas, it'll affect Mansfield.
Absolutely.
It's that good.
I mean, this tower is going to fill in a lot of voided areas, between here and Ashland County. They'll be using that tower. Ashland County will use it because we're so close in proximity. So it'll fill a lot of voids
Nice,
for sure.
nice.
So where are we? I know I keep asking, but the public paid a lot of money for the 911, would like to show as much of it as we could. Obviously, knowing security reasons, are we getting closer to being able to do something out there?
My concern is I have no problem with in September having a virtual viewing where we maybe invite one or two people and then they videotape it and we can get it out to stream it to the public. But I know no one wants to talk about COVID, but reality is we still have to be careful of bringing outside people into our facility as much as possible, especially our dispatch
So
center.
if the answer is let's wait till the surge or spike, whatever,
Yes.
when it goes down, that's fine.
Is everybody good with that? 'Cause I know Commissioner Banks was out. I mean, we could be ready to we've got a couple little loose ends we're tying up, but we could be ready for it. Not because operationally we're doing pretty much everything. It's just, I don't want to drag more people in. I would prefer if we could wait, do it so people can actually come and see. the most that we can.
Okay.
And certainly the Board of Commissioners are welcome
I've been out.
anytime,
Yeah.
you know, and I know you guys, you know.
Fine by me.
Now, shall we move on to,
Yes. So our second conversation is reference to the 1-year lease for a Live View Technologies camera system. I sent you folks the paperwork for all of that.
Yep.
And I don't know if the sheriff wants to start, but the concept is the chiefs and the sheriff got together. Initially, there was thought process of 2 of these being purchased, one by the county and then one by another local agency. That was not able to happen for the other local agency, but the sheriff still would like to move forward with purchasing this.
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to the sheriff.
Absolutely. And we got to demo it several times and the city of Mansfield had it out on Park Avenue for a while. And it's basically the camera system. It extends 22 feet up. It's a great camera system for security reasons, for theft reasons, for, you know, just for events, mainly for events. We've tested it. It was at the Ontario Festival on when they had their 4th of July celebration. We've had it at different locations. With some of the events that happen in the county, it's really, we think it's a huge benefit, you know, for law enforcement and fire departments and medical people to be able to, you know, protect the citizens of this county. And I think with that in mind, we kind of wanted to do a temporary thing where you can either purchase them or lease them, but the technology moves so fast, we thought the lease would be better. And I know Commissioner Banks and I have talked about this on several occasions about the Live View camera system. And I don't know, have you guys seen it?
Yeah, there's pictures of it and I called Captain yesterday.
I don't know if you'd seen it in operation.
No.
Okay, okay. And then it's a really, really good system. We think that it's worth the 1-year lease. I know that when it first went, Captain Sweat sent it to Andrew Keller, the prosecutor's office, for a legal opinion. Andrew Keller sent it back and said there's like 5 things that needed changed in the contract. And it's on a kind of a separate note, it's so good, the relationship and to make sure that everything is legally done correctly. And we sent it back to Chris Parker, the person that's with Live View. They made every change that we wanted in the contract. So the contract was changed and to what Andrew suggested. And so, you know, we're here to give it to the Board of Commissioners. It will be shared with all the other law enforcement agencies in the county and the fire departments in the county for different events, different, you know, potential.
We charge Porch a usage. Tell him I said that.
But
Thank
we think it would be very, very beneficial, and we'd like to try it for a year. The captain has made a suggestion as to how we pay for it. It would not cost we're not coming to the Board of Commissioners asking for more money. We have the money to be able to try this for a year. And Jim, can you, the financial?
Yeah, our contract services line items will be able to absorb this fee for the first year. We had some latitude with those funds, you know, based on the way things were approved for this year's budget. The project will not cost, I shouldn't say that. We're not asking for additional funding to cover this. We'll be able to cover it within our appropriated budget for this. And again, to amplify what the sheriff said, this is a great force multiplier. They're remote controlled. We can view them from anywhere as long as it has an internet connection, wireless internet connection. We can control them from a cell phone. You can watch it from your cell phone.
Right now, this wouldn't work in Lucas, right?
Well, it did work in Lucas actually. And the reason that it worked in Lucas, not constantly, because it was still getting bounced out. I mean, so it was getting intermittent signal, but since the boom is up 22 feet, the antenna is on top of 22 feet. So it did help out a little bit. So we did put it at the square in Lucas. And we monitored traffic down there for it. It was a great success. I probably had 15 phone calls within 10 minutes. Why do we have a speed camera in Lucas? Well, you don't.
360-degree coverage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can make there's 3 different cameras. They work independently of each other. And 2 of the 3 are thermal night vision. So basically thermal cameras. So you can make them pan, you can make them travel a path. They call it like a patrol path. So if you wanted to pan from here constantly back and forth, you could do that. You can make them set.
2 miles.
Yes, you could zoom in up to 2 miles and read a license plate. I mean,
What
it's
does this mean on the lease? It includes 15 gigabyte cellular data plan. How does that work?
that's to cover the data. So
Oh, okay.
we pay this. So when we're using it remotely and we're pushing data back,
Gig of
yes,
that coverage of
yes.
like, monitoring from your phone, whatever. That
Correct.
kind of data.
That's the plan that the company uses to download the data.
Monitoring mean.
Health monitoring means that the system itself. So it has this internal system that talks back to the company. And if it senses a camera's not working properly, if a motor's out, a battery's not working right, the solar panels aren't charging properly, it'll notify them. They come out, they take care of it.
This data is all backed up to the cloud somewhere. You can always,
It is. It is.
Who doesn't love the cloud?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
second.
I've got a question. What happened last year?
Well, I think Commissioner, that's an excellent question. And I think that's what, we wanted to give it a 1-year trial and see how it works. And then you can do 1 or 2 different things. You can either lease them or you can buy them. And I think what we're asking the board is we'd like to try this for a year. We're not sure.
Our vehicle, you get to pick.
That's a no-brainer for me,
But yeah, it's like, we want to make sure that we're gonna
Get the value.
get the value out of
Cost, are we going to use it for the value, which
it,
makes.
right? And
This won't be used every day, I assume. This is for
No,
events,
no.
for
right. That's why they want to do it for a lease to see how often is it used.
But beyond that, I think that, for example, if we offer this out to just as an example, the city of Mansfield, because let's say they use it for 20 days or 50 days or whatever, because they have a high crime area, they want to put this system in and it's beneficial, then maybe next year the approach is, okay, the county will buy one and everybody else.
Where you got to share in the cost.
Absolutely. And I think this is a great opportunity to cost share that out and find out how much other organizations are going to be able to use it or how many agencies. As
start the lease.
soon as we sign the paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so
The unit's already sitting in our parking lot.
they gave us like.
Pretty presumptuous.
They gave us like a 45-day trial for it. And so in that 45 days, we weren't sure how successful it'd be in Lucas because of the communications issue. Ontario used it. We've used it. It was up at when we had the Shiloh Ox Roast, we had it at the Shiloh Ox Roast. So we're using, that was a kind of a 45-day test period to see if we'd even be interested. Well, after we use it, we are interested and we'd like to try it for a year.
readings from other agencies, maybe in other states or other places that have used this.
Yeah, there was some propaganda that was sent along. You can get to the website and you can go into testimonials and whatnot. And of course, obviously on their website,
Positive.
everybody,
Right. This camera is terrible. Don't use it.
but
Our experience is good.
yes, it is. It has been. And I know that when the chiefs met, a couple of the chiefs had reached out to other agencies that have them and they had nothing but positive things to say about them. The only one negative thing that we've heard is that you have to have the Wi-Fi connection for it to work. So sometimes in our extremely rural areas, like again, Lucas, you may not get great signal and you may have to redirect where it has to be deployed based on that. But other than that, we have not heard any negative other than, again, possibly the cost because it is expensive. It's $24,600 a year for the lease. Now, granted, that is a complete, if the tornado comes through and blows this thing over and totally destroys it, the next day they bring us a new one type thing. So,
And we did negotiate the price quite.
We did.
We got them to come down quite a bit.
Yeah.
So,
36.
yeah, you're correct. It started at over 30,000. And so kept talking them down to,
I think leasing it to find out really how much we use it and all that.
I agree.
Good deal. So
Nice tool to make us safer.
Absolutely.
Stacy, why don't you do the roll call vote?
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Any question? Carl,
Yeah, just a couple of questions. And Captain, I think you just answered the first one I was going to ask is what's the price? And you said it's 24,600 to lease this for a year.
Yes, sir.
And is this the one that you basically, it sits on a trailer that you can hook up and drive it around anywhere you want it to be?
Correct. It is on a mobile platform trailer.
Now, you said that you said
Hey,
you
Carl.
use it. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry, Carl. If you wanted to take a picture of it or get a look at it, it's in the parking lot at 597 Park Avenue East behind Peoples. It's in the
Okay.
parking lot. If you wanted to get a picture of it.
Okay, thank you. You said that you used it at Shiloh with the ox roast and that was also used over in Ontario. Any results from it? Anything you saw that, any anecdotal things that, that maybe you noticed because of this system that you might not have seen otherwise?
Well, I can tell you definitely from speaking from the fair and the South Gate has notoriously been an area where we've had, problems. People trying to get in without paying, fights breaking out at the end of the evening and whatnot. But with this camera being deployed down there at that location, we had none of those issues this year. I think just the fact that people can see it and they know they're being recorded and they're knowing on camera is a great deterrent for us.
What's the name of the company that's actually, that's supplying it?
Live Viewer Technologies.
Where are they based out of, Captain?
I'm not sure where their corporate office is. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It might be on the paperwork.
And the idea is, since you've already got it and you've had it on a trial period, now that the commissioners have approved that you guys are good to go for the next year,
Yes, sir.
and you're not going to use it to scout Lucas football opponents.
No, no. As much as that would be convenient for us.
And you-
That might be a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Carl.
Well, at least it'd be government to government, right?
Exactly. Now, you did say it sits, what, 22 feet high at its apex?
Yes, the cameras can extend up 22 feet.
That's what I needed, guys.
Al.
Yeah.
Al, do you have questions?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I unmuted. Yeah, I got a couple on both issues. Again, the uses for this camera is for what? Basically security, or are you going to do kind of
Could be.
investigative surveillance, or?
It could be all of the above on public roadways. For example, if we have an area or a local municipality would have an area where they're having a lot of vehicle thefts in a neighborhood, we could set this up in that neighborhood and we could track, I would track is a poor word, but we could, record the folks that are coming and going in that area to see if they could generate suspects from that. If we have an event such as the fair or the Shiloh Ox Roast or the incarceration, this camera system could be set up in areas where you wouldn't have to have an officer standing maybe at all times, but you could immediately deploy them if you detected a problem in the area. And then obviously there's the evidentiary value of anything that would be recorded. If there was a fight, there was some type of incident where this was at, you would have those type of things also.
Okay, and 24,600, did I understand that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And you said iView, is that EYE view?
No, it's live, like LIV,
Live.
Lincoln, Ida, Victor, Edward.
Okay, and then getting back to the Lucas Tower, it's been a while since we've discussed that. What's the total cost on that, and where's all the money coming from? I know it sounds like 400 from the state capital budget.
At this point, we don't have the exact estimates. The initial preliminary estimates were anywhere between 550 and 600,000. 400,000 of that coming from state's capital fund. And then the remainder to come from the county's, your investment, or what is the actual capital improvement investment fund?
The reinvestment fund.
The reinvestment fund. But we should have back within the next week, the actual numbers that will be included in the bid specs to have a more realistic dialed down number.
Okay, and did I hear you say you were gonna, hoping to have it completed by the end of the year?
Yes.
Okay. And is this the final piece in all of the 911 improvements?
No,
They go hand in hand, but for now, absolutely. This is the key thing. There's some additional things that we have talked about in our committees. But I think those will be more budget dependent on revenue dependent for the county as a whole.
now this should really cover us for right now and should last us a while and maybe ever.
I think
Yeah.
the important part of the project is, or the important point of view is that this will be able to get Richland County out of the tower business altogether. You know, once we get these projects completed, the county will not have to foot the bills for either lease spacing on towers for radio equipment or the upkeep of the towers.
And Marks will take over the maintenance of the towers, which is a big savings long run.
Okay, yeah, when I asked, the end of the improvements, I mean, I remember you kind of put together a whole series of stuff, including, the 911 room and the tower and everything. This completes that one set you outlined, what, about a year and a half ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I think that's all I had.
Okay, thank you.
I'll get you the paperwork.
Coming in, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And,
I have a couple of quick questions.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Not really.
absolutely.
Was this right next to the sheriff's building at the fair? So if I'm looking at
That was the tower, I think.
That's a separate type of tower. So
That's not-
the state of Ohio has one. The difference between that tower and
I may have seen it there.
no,
No, that-
you might have the tower that we're looking to lease was actually down at the south gate. The tower that you're referring to is right next to it, and that is a man tower. The state is actually looking to do away with the man towers and going to a similar system to what we do, because you have to have somebody in that tower when it goes up. So it's you have to have somebody in there. They got to be up there. We're dependent on weather.
No, I saw something that I thought was on wheels, unmanned. I saw the big crane kind of thing.
Okay.
But
This was right next to the horse show area, right outside the south gate is where we deployed the
does this have a sign on it that says you're under surveillance or
no.
the cameras here? So people don't know what this thing is. They don't know they're being watched.
Well, it's I think it's pretty obvious, because what we do is normally most of the time, depending on where we set it up, we turn it's got flashing lights on it. So the flashing lights are on and they're blue like police lights would be. So it's pretty obvious that
And you see the
cameras and the balls and everything. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Now, if you're paying attention, I mean, it depends on how we set it up.
Can we see it down to Belleville Fair?
Absolutely. If Chief Willie would like it, it can be there. Get it set up for him.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. As always, gentlemen, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Call you.
so much.
You're wouldn't it?
No, no, no.
Young lady,
How are you?
how are you?
I'm
doing?
good.
Enjoy your time.
Oh, yeah.
Ball.
We used up all the joy for the night.
Okay, you left a little.
Just a
for me?
little bit,
This is
right?
just a contract.
No, Daryl and I had a bad shrimp experience early on in our commissionership, we believe, and I've stayed away from it ever since.
I'm allergic to it now.
Oh,
What a place though, huh?
Very good.
oh, it's excellent.
I've seen rec centers that aren't as well equipped as that house. Do you have a batting cage there? Batting cage?
This place goes up about $140,000 on now. I don't think it'll go that cheap.
Big spender.
Yeah, well, what I can afford, you know. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Steve. See you.
Yep.
It is 10 o'clock. And we want to the executive session to discuss clerk of courts union negotiations. And get a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
She was invited.
Rivera,
Yeah.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, it is 10:13 and we are out of executive session back into our regular session. And we have a motion that contractor, can we have a motion to approve the contract that has been negotiated? With a date of,
Effective 10/1 of 21 through 9/30 of 2024.
Banks,
yes,
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Questions?
hearing no questions.
I
There we
do.
go.
What does it involve financially?
This is a 3-year contract covering employees for the clerk of courts office. And so it's an increase to the starting rate for the 3 classifications of employees in the bargaining unit. And then the annual increases are 75 cents for 2021 and 3% for the 2nd and 3rd years.
Okay, and how does this fit in with what you're developing in terms of a, countywide wage scale?
The represented workers, Al, if you recall, because represented individuals are in fact represented and fall under an agreement with the employer, which would be us, they are not included in the wage study.
Okay. What union is this and what local?
It's AFSME.
3988.
Okay, and you've been negotiating how long? Just a couple months?
Oh, we had 3 bargaining sessions, I believe.
And
Okay, that's all I can think of right now. Thank you.
How
thank
many,
you, Al.
how many employees will this contract cover?
There are 8 deputy clerks who are union members in the auto title office. And there are 12 and a half. We have a part-time file clerk in the legal department, also members of the same union.
So 20 and a half altogether?
Correct.
And are there any other significant changes in the contract other than wages? And
No.
changes in benefits or hours or anything like that?
Not at this point. A very mature contract. So
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning. What's the start date of the contract? Of the change?
October 1st.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for coming in, ladies, and doing excellent work to get this done in a timely manner.
Sign copies. They go.
Look on the bottom one, make sure it's, yeah, it is. I
Okay.
give Cliff the thing I'm thinking.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ladies.
Lynn.
Okay, well, let's go right into other. First, let's stop at other. Certifying the record of proceedings for August 17th. Motion to do so.
Well, I actually need to make some amendments. Look at tape 05.12. You have Kurt Braden spelled KURTBRAYDEN, but then in the next section, you have it spelled properly. It's actually CURTBRADEN, so you have 2 different spellings.
RT.
Yeah, you have it right. I think you got it when he spelled it and wrong when you didn't initially have the spelling. You have opioid, that may need to be capitalized, I believe. And then you also have body armor as body armor.
Amour.
Right, I have them circled. My amendment.
There a motion to approve the minutes with those amendments.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
I assume it's not gonna change that. Okay, how about motion to approve requisitions?
So moved.
And seconded?
Banks,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
And can we have a motion to approve the weekly transfers and appropriation?
So moved.
Second?
Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Can we get a motion to approve the ComDoc hard drive security agreement?
What is that?
They're going to take all the hard drives out of all the copiers and printers that we have replaced, and they will all be disposed.
This is a former copier supply place.
correct.
Correct.
We have a motion.
We do not.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
And, authorize the application for a procurement card for the dog warden.
So moved.
That is a credit card, right?
Well, the dog warden is one of the departments that, depending upon the dogs they take in, they have to get a lot of supplies, right? Or get odds and ends. May need to make a run to PetSmart or Pet Supplies Plus, or even we have a need sometimes to get certain things that come up unannounced. So it'd be nice for them to have that flexibility. Otherwise, they can't go out and get it, or they need to locate someone with a procurement card that can go out and get it
Is that what
for
she's been doing to date? Find somebody with a card and buy.
them. Or
it.
they don't
maintenance mostly,
maintenance.
yeah,
Fill it out.
it'd be maintenance if
Okay. Second?
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Okay. And can we get a motion to approve the utility permit application from Columbia Gas on West Cook Road?
So moved.
Second.
What they're doing with this is installing a new 1-inch service line under Cook Road, West Cook Road. First,
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Okay. A motion to authorize the engineer to enter into agreements with ODOT for signs.
I'll make a motion. I think that's a great idea. I actually saw where they make these. That's pretty cool. So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Is that a thing for routine signs or is this, to eliminate something in the engineers department?
this is ODOT giving us money to help replace damaged and missing signs.
Missing, faded.
And they're giving us up to $20,000 to cover 80% of those materials that are faded and used and non-readable and so forth. And
Basically, we're talking traffic control signs then?
yes,
Okay.
Road signs, stop signs,
traffic control.
yeah.
Owls not allowed in Richland County signs.
Road name signs.
Did we vote on that?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Now, we need a motion to approve 4 revocable use permits of asphalt resurfacing project. And this is the project that we're getting government, federal government help on. And they are a little more restrictive on what can be near people having
Stay in the right away.
Okay, posts and
things in the right
boxes.
mailboxes, posts and fences and stuff. So these are areas that are not in the right of way at this time. They are in the right of way, but we're not using that right away. So that's why it's revocable, because if we ever need to do that, they have to move this stuff. So can we get a motion to approve the revocable easement?
So move.
Commissioner Banks, Rivera,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
And we have an employee who resigned from the child services. And can we get a,
Do you have a letter from that person?
Yep. Yep. It was in the packet.
I didn't. See it in my packet.
You can have it. So moved. Second.
Banks,
yes,
Rivera,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Stacy, before we finish, I just want to say I noticed in the transfers and appropriations, people are getting a little lax again. With their reasons for the transfers. This is a requirement from our office, specifically common pleas. Specifically because they're taking it out of other, which we know we don't love to begin with. I understand supplies can be supplies, but what kind of supplies? So why are you transferring from there? The same can be said even with the, let's see here, at the HR request.
The top letter's mine, the details are behind it.
So the question is, where's the $250 coming from for the additional appropriation?
I have it in there. I'm transferring it from Memorial Day funds.
Okay.
So my letter, where to take it from, Rachel's letter was explaining why it's needed.
Okay. If you don't have a reason, send it back for anything. That's how we get sloppy. That's all I'm just gonna say.
I wanted to,
go ahead, Al.
I wanted to go back to the sign thing. I just had a question. Does that include danger barrel ahead signs too?
I think there's a danger handsome Italian ahead.
Any other? Any more questions from the press?
Oh, so many questions, but so little time. We'll have to wait till later.
Well, we got time right now, Carl.
No, I mean, I don't have time right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's 10:26 and we will stand adjourned.